guys, so it is the moment that everybody has been waiting for. It is 2021. I know a lot of you guys have had a very tough year, and I myself have had a kind of weird year. But out of all the craziness that 2020 brung, I'm so happy to talk about all the wins, all the losses that I went through with this year. Now, the beginning of this year started out really great. I was working a job at a coffee shop and I got promoted to the manager, and things were looking great. So that meant a little bit of a pay raise, and I got to do some new opportunities. One of those opportunities was I was able to use my talents as far as videoing and photography skills to go to a trip in Nashville at a coffee expo. Now, my job was just to do a recap of the people that we were bringing from our company who were competing at this competition.
So we just got to Nashville, been on the road for a few hours. Competition is tomorrow. I'm super excited. I've never done anything like this before, so we're just gonna see how it goes. But I've been practicing all week, training all week, so hopefully we can just surprise some people.
Roasting competition. I'm really excited about this. I've actually been roasting for about 8 years now, half of that being professionally, half just as a home roaster. But I'm really excited to compete. I'm about to go on in about 15-20 minutes, and we'll let you know how I do, and hopefully we can record that for you guys.
Jacob, is there a dot? He has a dot!
I feel like I competed well, did my best. I had a lot of fun. It was so fun, just being able to like meet people, talk to people. I get to do the same thing today. Like, we get to do the same thing today. Just meet, talk, learn. I've learned so much in the past like 48 hours. It's bonkers.
Hey guys, we're just wrapping up day one of the competition here. Jacob just went and did the cup tasters and did a great first job. I did my presentation and served my coffee earlier today, and it went really great. We won't find out till the end of the weekend how I did, but continue to follow online and see how Jacob ranked and how he did, and then how I placed as well. And just keep checking in for updates about the competition. Thanks so much.
Now at the expo, I made a lot of connections with people in the coffee world and a lot of different connections with brands who I now work with today. Returning from this trip was awesome. The video turned out great. A lot of people saw it and enjoyed it, and it actually got me some new opportunities. And my life just kind of went on. I worked at the coffee shop as a manager for a little bit longer, and I really did enjoy it. And so then, you know what happened at the beginning of March. The craziness started to happen. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it without getting demonetized in this video, so I'm just not gonna say it, but it hit us and it was really, really bad. And so for me, it was so difficult because I was working for a coffee shop. So obviously people are gonna come into the coffee shop with everything going on and being exposed and maybe even carrying it themselves. And so we lost tons of business. And not only was the business that I work with affected, but every business was affected, especially every coffee shop in the area was affected. Whenever all of that stuff happened, I wanted to help. I didn't know what to do, and so I just started off with the simplest thing I knew to do. And that thing was to pick up my camera and just start filming. And so I made this video, which actually got a lot of attention on social media. As you may have already heard, as of yesterday, March 19th, 2020, all restaurants and bars have been forced to do carry-out and to-go orders only. This is a good time to be supporting local businesses, especially coffee shops. And after this video, it kind of encouraged people to do a lot more for the local shops. There were people from other states like Texas who were buying gift cards for the shops, and they were allowing anyone to go in the shop and use that gift card until it was empty, just to help the shop and the coffee shops get through this hard time. After that, the whole situation got even worse because of the social injustices that were going on against people like me. There were riots, there were a lot of different protests going on, safe and unsafe, and so it made it even more difficult. And so then again, I just felt the need to help. At that time, I had gotten laid off, or I think you call it furloughed, from my job, which means I would have gotten it back later after business picks up. But I wasn't really doing anything. I didn't have a lot to do at the time, and so I wanted to help out in some way.
A Facebook post by a Little Rock police officer is taking off on social media after a stranger made an unexpected delivery to multiple cops who were out working the protest on Monday night. Our Hillary Hunt has this story.
I think that people need to know that they're taken care of, like someone loves them.
You could say kindness is in Joe Klein's DNA.
I was thinking to myself, well, who's helping take care of them?
So Monday night, he stopped by this Little Rock donut shop.
Cookies and cream.
It picked up a few for Little Rock police officers working the protest.
So I just went in, bought some donuts down the street, and walked and gave them to them.
Little did he know his simple gesture would gain a lot of attention on social media after Detective Brittany Van Rossum posted this.
I just kind of wanted to share this guy and what he had done.
It wasn't about what was in this brown bag. It was about the message that came with it.
We have been working a lot of extra hours and no days off, and it was really great to have just someone genuinely care, and his smile just kind of warmed you. Just his smile, let alone the act.
Just proving sometimes it's the smallest actions that can carry the loudest message. A message Joe encourages you to pass on.
You don't have to duplicate the way that you've seen other people love. Make up new ways. Now, after this video, I again felt the need to still help some more. It was like every single time I'd done something and it got more traction, I just wanted to help out more. And so what I done was what I knew to do best, which is pick up my camera and start filming. So I decided that I was gonna go to as many coffee shops, or try to go to every coffee shop in Little Rock, Arkansas that I could, and make a documentary called Grinds.
The last 48 hours has been whirlwind, because we had yesterday announced the first presumptive positive test. Well, overnight I was advised that we have 5 additional presumptive positives. Because of the increased community spread that we have seen, bars and restaurants will be closed for dine-in service and open for carry-out, drive-through, and delivery.
Something I always loved doing was bringing people together. So one of my favorite things was bringing groups of people into one room and making them feel creative and that they had a safe place and a place to connect with each other, right? And so I had been doing that for a long time, honestly.
I liked the mix of all the artistic energies in a coffee shop. So it was, you know, from the actual craft of making coffee, but you would see like people writing, you would see artists in there, you would see people that were musicians that were doing, you know, so you had this big melting pot of arts there, and I just loved the environment.
We have asked the public to engage in social distancing. We have asked you to engage in screening if you're involved in a business, so that you can better protect the employees and to avoid unnecessary travel.
when we opened our doors, and granted, this was in 2017, so not all that long ago. It was in the summertime, and we all know downtown Little Rock in the summertime at that point and onward was just booming. And so we were excited to enter in on it. The shift was starting to happen down here. You know, this cultural experience where people from different walks of life and backgrounds could actually come downtown and experience live music and local artists. And we were developing our Second Friday art walks in this community that now people wanted to live and work downtown. I'm from Little Rock. I'm a native to Little Rock. It was not this way. We did not come downtown. And now it's this bustling area.
So I loved the cafe environment before I even really liked coffee, honestly. And so I started to kind of connecting the dots and thinking, well, what would I do if I started my own business? And I thought, you know, we lived in Conway at the time. There's 3 colleges. I thought there's no good music that comes through Conway. We should open a music venue. That would be great. But then I thought, we have to have another revenue stream, you know, that's not just shows. And so I started it was like a progression of figuring that out, and I landed on coffee shop because I was like, you can do live music, you can do, you know, cool events, like the atmosphere is great, the smells are great, you know, you can like create a beautiful space that people enjoy. So there's all these artistic elements that come together in the coffee shop.
The difference between before being an owner of Mugs Cafe and after was, before I was definitely I went to Starbucks a lot more, you know, one of those guys. And I still loved going to local coffee shops, but Starbucks was just more of a convenience thing for me. When I got into it and I started actually learning a lot more about it and actually tasting the difference and learning about the differences between craft coffee versus something like a Starbucks or something you'll buy at the grocery store, and kind of developing the taste for it. It was wild how much I realized how much better it was. When I first acquired Mugs in Argenta, it was not this big public thing. No one wrote about it. I mean, it was 6 months into it, you know, I had not done any interviews, no blogs, no one had written about it. For me, it's been really fun because, you know, for example, I'm in Mugs Cafe Heights the other day, came in doing some work, couple sits down next to me and they talk about, hey, this is, you know, an amazing cup of coffee, or this is the best chai latte I've ever had. You know, the things you hear people say, you know, when they go to a craft coffee shop that you love to hear. And it's fun for me sitting there and, you know, they don't know that I own
it. We all love Little Rock. I've traveled a bunch and used to not like Little Rock as much when I was in high school. Kind of was like, because it was where I was from, I wanted to see other places. But after seeing a bunch of other places, realizing that Little Rock in Arkansas actually has some like really cool stuff going, especially now, just a lot of these younger people coming up, super creative, the art scene's popping off, the coffee scene's amazing now. There's a ton of good coffee shops around Little Rock.
So I got into coffee 6 years ago. I was 22 years old. I was really uncertain with what I wanted to do with my life. I decided to take a backpacking trip to Italy. Long story short, there I found the cafes and the coffee culture. From there, I actually went on another backpacking trip through Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland, where I discovered the craft of coffee. It really inspired me. I was like, at that point, I was like, I love this. When I got back from those 2 trips, I put together a business plan. Long story short, I had a job at Hewlett-Packard, which I hated, and I quit that job with a credit card. I opened my first coffee shop in Conway, Arkansas, slept in the back of the shop, and just made it work. I grinded it out and just made my dream happen.
Businesses in Arkansas should plan for the future. In other words, we want to keep business operating, and to do that, you have to determine how you can keep your business going consistent with the public health guidance that's being provided today. Avoid social gatherings of more than 10 people.
You know, when the virus started to spread, we felt and really believed as a team that this was going to impact our whole community, our coffee culture within Little Rock. We didn't know at what scale, and there's unknown in it, but we went from, and I believe all the other small businesses here in Little Rock and our city were experiencing this.
On March 20th, our sales dropped almost 50% overnight. Felt very nervous about how far this was gonna escalate, essentially.
I think honestly, as Americans, like, we see ourselves as being in this isolated bubble, and like what happens outside of the world or outside of the US doesn't really affect us that much. A little over a week ago, it started to become a lot more personal because it started to creep into the news here in the United States, and they were discovering, you know, people that were infected.
And as soon as this hit and this virus really started taking over and they announced it as a pandemic, we saw an immediate 24-hour decrease in sales. Within 48 hours, 50 to 60% drop after we had experienced a 20 to 30% increase, which was just like, wow.
How can we get through this? How can we stay open? How can we get, still get sales? How can we still serve customers? Because that's the name of the game. You gotta have sales in order to keep the doors open.
It was kind of a lot like being on a boat through a storm. You know, the waves go up, the waves go down, the waves go up. On one side, it was, this is not the first storm that I've been through. My company, my team, we're very used to being under pressure just because of our story. On the other side, it was a sense of urgency, a sense of desire to help. This has really reinforced my passion for community, and it's really reinforced my passion and hunger for success.
When I think about the coming future, I realize that we have to be very fluid and flexible. My thought and belief and hope is that we will manage and steward our resources very well during this time, and that we will learn how to get very lean in the way that we operate, even if it is limping along for a while, and we'll come out on the other side of this having survived.
We at least have a short-term and long-term plan in place, depending on how long this is going to take to settle down. Hopefully it's short-term, but if it is long-term, we're ready to keep our business afloat in whatever way that means, by going online, by doing curbside, by doing delivery, figuring out how to adapt to the changes, because that's what everybody's having to do right now, is adapt their personal routines, their everything, their entire lives.
Our mindset is always to remain calm and think through, especially in our management team. No one's allowed to just point out problems. If you point out a problem, you've at least got to come up with one solution that follows it. Hey, here's the issue, but this is what I think we can do. It wasn't a choice for us to fail. And so we said, look, if we don't quit, we won't fail, and we're just going to push through this.
I don't know that I recall feeling intense fear or anxiety. Sure, there's been periods where the opportunity's been there to feel that. I can't describe really what it is, but I have more of a sense of peace about it than I do fear. And I do know how to describe that. I think it's my faith in the Lord. And I believe that, Jesus paid for and died for and has taken care of, everything for us. And we really don't have to worry about things as much as we tend to do.
Oh my goodness. My favorite thing to talk about right now is how our community has stepped in. I have seen the way that small businesses have rallied around each other right now, and the way that our coffee shops have been checking in on each other. Coffee shop teammates, managers, owners that we wouldn't have done that before. These past couple of weeks have actually been giving each other shout outs and words of encouragement, and go check in on our friends down the street or go help them out. That has been huge for our team to see, and it's been very encouraging for us as a coffee shop and creative space for this community to be a part of something like that.
We had someone come into a cafe and literally in one swoop bought every single pastry we had. And they're doing these bulk orders. We've had some, we've done a couple catering orders to organizations, whether it be a hospital or an office, that traditionally, might not consider a local cafe for that order, but they are now. So we've definitely seen the community get behind us in that way, and we can't thank them enough.
What do you say to a restaurant owner who is looking at his sheets and thinks he has to close within the next 30 days?
Well, I know the business very well. I understand the restaurant business. It's a very delicate business. It's a business that is not easy. We're making it easy for people to look what we're doing in terms of loans, what we're doing in terms of salaries.
So through that documentary, again, I was kind of furloughed. I was being offered a new job position in the company, but I set out in 2020 with huge goals. One of those goals was to be making at least $40,000 a year. I know that isn't a lot, but coming from Arkansas where the poverty line is very, very high, that was a lot for someone like me. And so because of that and because of that goal that I had, I did not take that new job position that was offered. And I actually took another job position that was offered by one of the people I interviewed in the documentary. Now, this new job position also aligned with another goal that I had, which was to be doing content creation full-time by the end of 2020. So not only did I make one of my goals, but I made two of my goals by the middle of the year. Now, I was working for a coffee company and my job was basically like an in-house marketer. I would do all their websites, anything that had an image or that had anything to do with the look or the brand of the company. That was what I was in control over, whether that was packaging, labels, videos, photos, etc. Everything went through me. And to be honest, it was a really, really awesome opportunity. However, the situation of the world again began to affect that job position as well, and it made it kind of difficult for me to continue doing videos like I wanted to, which is a huge passion and part of my life. So I kind of had a blind eye out for a new job opportunity. I wasn't really looking too hard for one, and at the time I actually had 3 offers. 2 of them were in Texas, 1 of them was in Arkansas. And so as you guys know at this point, we took one of the jobs in Texas as a production director for a church, which was incredibly awesome. Now, the reason why I took this job was because in the other jobs, I felt like I was getting things done, the content was high quality, but it didn't have any sentimental purpose for myself. I felt like I was being a part of another huge thing of someone else's business that was making them more money, but it really wasn't changing people for the good. So I wanted to find a job that had a lot of purpose. So at this point, I had 2 of my goals conquered, and now I have my 3rd goal conquered, which is finding a job that has purpose, where I get to pour into people, work with people, teach them everything that I know as far as production, filmmaking, and photography. Oh man. So it has been a crazy ride. Through all of those different things, I've also been in my 1st year of marriage, which has been really tough, to be honest. It's not easy going through your 1st year of marriage, but so many different couples say that it gets easier after the 1st year. And honestly, I believe that. I think 2021 is gonna be an even better year for me, but also I hope that you have the mindset and you decide that 2021 is gonna be a better year. I know a lot of people just think that the year is gonna get better just because the calendar flipped. I don't believe in that, I really don't. I believe that you have the opportunity to make this year great and make something of yourself this year, help people that you wanna help, accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. You just have to set them and work towards them. So I am so excited for what this channel is going to bring in the next year. I'm also super excited for my new job and all the goals that I'm already setting for this next year. And if you guys are actually interested in what I do for my job, let me know in the comment section below, and I can do some behind the scenes each and every Sunday or throughout the week of what I do as a production director of a pretty medium to larger size church. I hope you guys have a blessed 2021. Happy New Year's to everyone watching this video today. Thank you to all the people who are finding this video organically through YouTube, subscribing and commenting. This year is gonna be great. And if you like this video, if you like any of my videos, please share them to your friends and family so that we can grow this channel so that we can have more opportunities in 2021. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.